We have no contractual agreement. That's the response from the Roads and Highways Ministry to the growing pressures by the road toll workers asking government to reinstate them. After months of scrapping the revenue measure, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says new roads constructed and the private-public partnership will be subject to some road tolls. We can listen to the Finance Minister.
The Ministry of Roads and Highways is currently under review by GIF, Ministry of Roads and Highways, the Office of the Attorney General, and the Ministry of Finance. When completed, the concession agreement is expected to be approved by the PPP Committee, Cabinet, and Parliament. The completed road will be tolled. Mr. Speaker, all new roads of this nature will be tolled.
Well, following this announcement, the road toll workers say government must stay true to its promise of reassigning or reinstating them. Well, we do know that earlier this year, Deputy Employment Minister Bright Brobe is on record to have said the following words, which we are putting on your screens right now, indicating very clearly that at the time of the suspension of the toll collection, a total of some 784 toll workers were engaged by the Ghana Highways Authority. Now, the government is currently engaging with the Toll and Routes Management Limited to develop other employment modules for the re-engagement of the toll workers. So that's the statement the Deputy Employment Minister made at the time. Meanwhile, Deputy Roads and Highways Minister Stephen Jalula says government does not have any power to reinstate the workers. That he disclosed this afternoon on our midday bulletin on Joy 99.7 FM.
In his presentation, indicated that the government was going to do the Accra motorway on a PPP basis, and after the road is done, it will be tolled because it's going to be a private investment, or it's going to be done under concession, and that means that the investors need to pay it back. So if he says that we are going to toll the road, that is the PPP road, and he was very emphatic that going forward, all the PPP roads will be tolled. But it doesn't mean that the public roads that we see the collection of tolls on, we are going back to collect on those roads. That is not what he intended. Yeah, let me say that the disabled people came into the sector basically through my boss when he took over office in 2017, and then realized that they needed to be engaged to also contribute their quota to the development of the state. So he asked the private road toll collectors at the time to engage the disabled people so that they could also work. Now, the engagement with the private road toll collectors ended in December. And as you are aware, it will lead to something else if we kept on paying these staff who are working with the private road toll collectors, because in the end it will somebody may go to jail for causing financial loss to the state, because we do not have any contractual agreements with the private road toll collectors. So that is what is currently the case when we speak about the disabled association.
So that's the position of government on this. Well, we've been assessing the concerns of the road toll workers. Here's a report by Jojo Kobna on their plight.
If I get the opportunity, not less than 50% of those engaged, to be given to the physically challenged, because it's one sure way of giving them some employment.
The promise to employ persons with disabilities to collect road tolls subsequently became a reality. The NPP government put a smile on the faces of the people who were employed there. Subsequently, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, made a firm commitment to do more.
Persons with disabilities would constitute not less than 50% of the people employed to operate toll booths across the country.
However, when the Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta declared that the toll booth operations had been abolished, the hopes of the workers were crushed.
The government has abolished all tolls on public roads and bridges. The toll collection personnel will be reassigned. The expected impact on productivity and reduce environmental pollution will more than offset the revenue foregone.
The pledge to reassign all toll booth workers has not come to pass yet. For 6 months, the workers have not received any salaries yet.
So we respect because what frame meeting our flow because when we say they are what it will be able to meet you. But he said you man go in a day, it was on fire and yes. At least ye did them, ye say ye did them, ye them didn't cry, forget it, say ye be near a crack or forget ya forgetting them na ye dino. We are focusing on say be calling him. But after the way I see about na yen disability no, I can say. Problem na I can say pa men can that out. And yeah easy.
You know easier, yeah. The world is falling on me. I be praying for the man them. Don't nobody understand them. Yeah. You know easier, yeah.
That is Evelyn Gadri. She used to work at the Pobiman toll booth. When the going got tough, she started hawking in the street to put food on the table for her 4 children. She waved through vehicles to sell her wares to commuters. But an accident around the Achimota Melcombe area has left her in shock. She identifies the girl who was involved in the accident in a video I had taken earlier.
Lady back on a beggar or not what a wheelchair. Ukita Mufra, Ketua Mun be your twins. See, ya walk one was a Mr. Cabiati free. Your fab franoso. When we at once, if Nina Munina day, I say, and I wouldn't coy. 3 days time no back chains our friend Tino. I'm an mamma is winning be what say. Mamma is some baby on our front because near any day. I'm a micrambo, Miss Rosa.
Evelyn joined other toll booth workers to picket at the Ministry of Roads and Highway, but that yielded no results.
Several times. The beer is on the pipeline. The beer also is on the pipeline. The other time you catch and say, you train 1G11 into what you 2 movie to cry a man of time. Kakani is uncle Boom. Your course is on the pipeline and the young trainer. Your pipe now say, I've been crying wood to crown wound to me. The beer pipeline.
Evelyn is frustrated because her husband's shoemaking shop was also demolished, so he's also out of work.
Beer wants to book yours, no. Not kiosk no one or you do, but a horse one na and if one we no so no he fan ebeko. Yen baby a ebeko, but they manage me that go point him say on sending to me na say that ko me hu sentiment. Ha me pa me da menda. First me able person and until but me hu so one shame me on me no me ba pen you. One shame 15 years am busy by this time. Nti ono ana family or ye me ho ade kakra bi ene ade ne ye manage kakra but what some baby bu ni die na wo mu ni kiosk me ana na me kwadwuma ba no na bibia ko ye fine me maintain fie ade no e hante me.
Odoi, Evelyn's husband, says he is now miserable because of the current state of the economy.
Ni bra ba ko bi kwa e wesra na o mano 102 bi 1.2 was this ade o be to fini nyama koto traffic enu kura po mi catch and say dangerous no see that be nkwala no sisi a school omo school fees so mbe ko school kura omo duane di kura be din.
Genevieve also used to work at the Pobiman toll booth. Due to the high cost of living and the fact that she's currently jobless, she feels suicidal.
Because my dream is me baby. See, I'm missing na me kura. Me bank account kura de. Say last money I'm banuko yi na fill forms. No see mama scan e wo NIB. E wanna ye di pay fanti. E wanna ye save 50 Ghana.
She says the news about the abolition of the toll booth took a toll on her. Prior to that news, a car lost control and crashed into the booth she was working in. She was trying to get away when she fell on her hip, breaking hip implants and worsening her condition.
A certain Kia Bongo came when I gave the ticket. So when he moved for me to serve another car the ticket, then I heard bang. So I don't know what happened. So I was struggling in the boot till I fell down on my leg, and one of my leg is longer than, let's say Ghana is longer than Africa. So I used to wear special sandals. So it slipped me, and this my leg went down heavily, and the implant inside got break.
Authorities at the toll booth did not cover her hospital bill. She appealed for funds to undergo surgery, and upon recovery, she was hit by the news that toll booths had been shut down.
I was not at work that time because I had an accident at the workplace, so I was in the house. So when I heard the news, it was not easy for me. It was not easy for me to control myself. I was hoping that I will get better and go back to work.
So my colleague Jojo Kobina there assessing the plight of toll workers. You've seen that for yourself, but this afternoon we're getting a bit of an update from the Roads and Highways Ministry as to what it is that will be done in terms of reinstating or reassigning workers on the various tolling points across the country. Well, Stephen Jalula, who happens to be the Deputy Minister in charge of that sector, says government currently as it stands has no contractual agreement with the toll workers.
The minister in his presentation indicated that the government was going to do the Accra motorway on a PPP basis. And after the road is done, it will be tolled because it's going to be a private investment, or it's going to be done under concession. And that means that the investors need to pay it back. So if he says that we are going to toll the road, that is the PPP road. And he was very emphatic that going forward, all the PPP roads will be tolled. But it doesn't mean that the public roads that we see the collection of tolls on, we are going back to collect on those roads. That is not what he intended. Yeah, let me say that the disabled people came into the sector basically through my boss when he took over office in 2017, and then realized that they needed to be engaged to also contribute their quota to the development of the state. So he asked the private road toll collectors at the time to engage the disabled people so that they could also work. Now, the engagement with the private road toll collectors ended in December. And as you are aware, it will lead to something else if we kept on paying these staff who were working with the private road toll collectors. Because in the end, somebody may go to jail for causing financial loss to the state. Because we do not have any contractual agreements with the private road toll collectors. So that is what is currently the case when we speak about the Disabled Association.
Well, so that's the position of the ministry on this matter. Well, fortunately, I've been joined by some executives of the Ghana Toll Workers Union. Henry Dobe is chairperson of the group, and Eddie Danka happens to be the general secretary for the Ghana Toll Workers Union. So, gentlemen, welcome to the studio. Eddie, let me start with you. You've heard the deputy minister in charge of roads and highways indicating that if we go ahead to reinstate or reassign you, we may be prosecuted for causing financial loss to the state.
Good evening. I'll say hello to all your viewers and then the toll workers. It's listening to him. I felt it's. I don't know how to express it. I mean, there's anger, there's rage, and it's laughable as well. I mean, how can you say that paying us is causing financial loss to the state when you're the very people who promise us that you're going to seize our operations, and then you will pay us every month until you reassign us? You know, telling us that giving us salaries to survive on, to live on, is causing financial loss to the state. Can we say same for the action of the Honorable Minister of Roads and Highways?
But you've heard, for instance, the minister explain that in terms of your recruitment, it was done by a private organization, and contract has been terminated. So
but
it may be a bit difficult to reinstate you, isn't it?
Well, what he's saying is that, you know, we were put on a 6-month contract.
Right.
Good. It was subject to renewal based upon your performance. But in actual fact, the contract was never renewed. And I started working in 2019. 2019, I started working. So it was not renewed. Okay. So the assumption was that you've been taken on permanently. I mean, you're working, you're getting paid, so everything is fine. And for him to also say that or suggest that our contract ended in December 2021, it's neither here nor there, because nothing showed that our contract is supposed to end in December. And unfortunately for him also, the private contractor, which is Tolls and Routes Management Limited, who I was working under, who most of us were working under them, gave us a letter, termination letter, dated on the 17th of June. So we have evidence that...
So the indication you're giving us now is that even your contractual agreement ended just this month?
Yes.
Or let's say, took effect last month.
Yes.
So you even have between the period of January to the first half of the year to claim a salary?
Yes.
Genuinely speaking.
Yes, genuinely. And even that, the last time I was here, I made people know that we're not even going by that letter, because, I mean, the initial promise, because you said your closing tolls, and this is what you attach to closing the toll, which is you're going to find alternate livelihood for us. But in the interim, before you give us that alternate livelihood, you're going to pay us. Right. That was the promise you attached to closing the toll. So as long as you have closed the toll, you have not opened it, you still owe us until you reassign us. And what we have come to realize is that the reassignment, in the past, we realized that the reassignment is taking too long. So we suggested, and we're all saying that, if you cannot find any other alternate livelihood like you wanted to do, and like the Minister of Finance also said some time back, that the government payroll is full. Then the toll booths, the structure, infrastructure, everything is already there. All you had to do is just call us back to go and work. But what
that's what you're demanding.
Yeah.
But I'm minded at this point to bring back the words of the Deputy Employment Minister somewhere earlier this year, assuring that you are going to be reinstated or reassigned. I'd wanted to quote his exact words, so we'll try and get that on the screens for you. What it is that Bright Rekubrobe had indicated at the start of this year. Probably we just roll excerpts of that for you, so you can get a sense of what it is that he had to say about the reassignments. But I was just trying to pick up on what he said, where he indicated very clearly that government was redesigning modules that will place you either at some different tolling centers, or would have to reassign your members. But Chairman Henry, let me find out from you, is it the case that that engagement has broken down ever since?
As my brother said, They said they will reassign us, but before the reassignment, they will be paying us until we are being assigned. So for the first 3 months, we were not receiving anything, and we tried to engage our contractor. So when we engaged him, and then he said the government did not fulfill his bargain, so we should wait. We should give him another time for him. We would like to see them. Whatever it is, they will inform us. So when we got to him the next time again, he said, oh, because the government is not responding to the bargaining, he suggested that he will give us notice of termination. So he notified us that he's going to terminate our appointment by June.
That was the notification, and this was way before or way after the announcement. The announcement of that the booths were closed across the country. The announcement from the finance minister.
No, that one happened unexpectedly.
Okay.
We were not aware. We were waiting, and then the announcement came.
So what you're even telling us now is that even after that announcement, you were not officially communicated to that stop working until the end of June.
No. When we even made attempts to see the minister of roads and highways, the man told us that we are not having any agreement with the minister. He says that we are having agreement with, so he's going to deal with us. And then the minister assured them that they should still continue to pay us until we are reassigned. So because of that, we actually mellowed.
Right.
But as time goes, we realized that nothing was coming out of that. So we approached him again, and then he told us that looking at it, the government is not trying to fulfill the bargaining. So he's going to notify us. If he tried again, there was no positive response.
Right.
So fine. Then the notification letter came that because the government is not trying to fulfill the bargaining that they had with them, they have terminated our contract. That was 17th June. So if you are saying now that our contract ended in December.
So basically you're saying the deputy minister did not get his facts right?
No. We received termination letter in 17th June.
Which is to even take effect a month after,
yes,
right?
Month.
So after a period of a month. So let's say it's supposed to expire somewhere in July. 17th July, or with immediate effect. What was on that letter?
They said they are going to pay us. We are still their workers.
Okay.
Recently, last month, June 17th, we received letters of termination.
Yes, I'm interested in that letter. That letter, what did they communicate to you? Did it say you were ending in that month of June?
Yes, it's effective.
Effective June. Okay. June, so that was the agreement.
Yeah, 17th June effective, because the government did not fulfill their bargain.
But what plans were you given in terms of paying the backlog or the arrears that your members were owed?
So they said the government is supposed to be paying us, but because the government is not paying us and we are also mounting pressure on them, they think they have to withdraw from this case, because the government told them when he was coming to do that, he did not inform them before he did it, and when he caused the closure to, he told them that you should not lay anyone off until we are being reassigned. So until we are reassigned, they will be paying us until. So we were waiting for that promise before we realized that, these people, they were just trying to find some place to actually push us off. So that's why we wrote a letter to the leadership of Parliament, and then we petitioned the Honorable President, His Excellency Nana-Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, that he should try it and reopen the tolls, because the promise you made was not fulfilled. And we are about 800 workers. 800 workers, through what even the information minister said, that the government's payroll is almost full. Yeah. We don't believe that they are still going to recruit that 800. And the tolls booths are still there. All the facilities are there.
Right.
And we can go back at any time and start the work. Why didn't he reopen the toll so as we go and start the work? To avoid this sort of unemployment hardship for us. So when we went there, we actually engaged with some of them. They promised that they will assist us so as our issues will be addressed.
Right.
Just yesterday, that the Minister of Finance, we thought, it's going to be a very good day and the happiest
moment for you in terms of the announcement.
But it was just disappointing.
I'm interested in taking your thoughts on that as well. Adi, let me bring you in because of the concerns relating to the new module that was announced by the finance minister. It doesn't look as though all the, tolling points will be reopened. I don't get that impression. Yeah. I stand to be corrected. But what's your own impression of what the finance minister said?
It's same as and like my chairman said, we're very disappointed because we're actually at Parliament House yesterday, hoping that we'll hear something good. But the information that came, as in there's going to be PPP, and then and then they mentioned Temamoto Way, and we also know that Temamoto Way is an old road, so and they're going to they're going to collect tolls on those roads. And we're saying, if before you close the toll, you give reasons, you said traffic and then pollution and all. Are you telling us that this toll booth that you're going to mount, there will be no traffic, there will be no pollution there? And if indeed there will be no traffic or pollution, why don't you replicate same on all the roads so that the unemployment that you've created, it feels like our leaders do not really feel the pain that we are going through. That is the sense that, they don't. Because if they did, you won't be juggling us like this. People's lives have been lost due to this issue. Yeah. People's marriages are falling apart. People's children are at home. People cannot pay rent. People call us that even to upkeep food, they don't have money to buy food. We are in a difficult situation, and we've communicated this to the Honorable Minister for Roads and Highways. The last time we had a meeting with him, we told him, these are all the problems that we're going through. In the meeting, it felt like he sympathized with us, but it's been like 3 months over. And we're hoping that, if really you sympathize with us and you felt for us, in the meetings that you've had with cabinet meetings and all that, you propose that they open the tolls. So yesterday we were expecting that.
Don't you feel that government is restrained simply by the legal implications, as we're hearing from the Deputy Minister? The fact that government did not directly employ your members. That's also a challenge, isn't it?
No,
right.
The toll workers, we have 2 categories.
Okay.
Some are under Ghana Highways Authority. Those are the minor tolls. Okay. And then the major tolls under the Tolls and Routes Management Limited. But our problem is, if you are talking about that, you want to toll the new roads, and the money being used to construct the road, you toll the road to pay. Right. What about the many years that the tolls, that the revenue you collected on the previous road?
What was it used for? Is that a question you're asking?
A legitimate question to ask.
You are telling us you told that one to pay. What about the previous one, the monies that you generated from there? Look at even a year, last year, the total this thing will be almost 85 million Ghana cedis. Right. Does it mean road toll is meant for road maintenance? It's not for road construction. So all the toll booths, where the stretch to the toll booths and from the toll booth has to be maintained from the toll money. And those things were not done. So when the drivers and they get there, we are the people that they attack. That we are just stealing monies and other things. Because you are the one who collect the money from there, direct. You collect the money from there. And they don't see any improvements on the roads. So they say you are a thief. And right now you are telling us you are going to construct new roads and put tolling on it. You should try and maintain the ones that he has collected. Then he can go back and construct the new ones and put.
So what you're basically saying is you disagree with the finance minister on the plans for this new road?
Plans. When you construct road, we maintain roads. That's why the tolls are on it. So right now, if you are saying that you're going to construct Tema toll is existing road, you are going to do expansion. After the expansion work, you put tolls on it. What about those ones that you collected?
Well, let's talk about the future and what plans you have set in place as a group to mount pressure on government. Adi, tell us about it. What are we to expect in the coming days?
Well, it feels like in this country of ours, when you're trying to be diplomatic, you're trying to play by the books. Our politicians do not pay heed to it. You have to go overboard. You have to do something that it is, excuse my language, unlawful. Right. Like we witnessed recently, not quite long ago, in Kumasi. So leadership, we've thought of it. We're going to sit down and plan on the next action to take. But we want the people in authority to be rest assured that the kind of pain and the suffering that we're going through, we'll throw it on them. We'll let them feel what we are feeling in our next action that we'll take. If they will not solve these problems, they will not amicably solve this problem, we will go the long haul with them. I can tell you, on the platform that we are, the sentiments and the kind of expression, the things that people say, look, we are faced with a lot of things. We are faced with issues of armed robbery and, stealing here and there and all that. And now the new threat of terrorism is just by, close to us, right, in our next door countries. You see, what one guy called me and told me, if I should say it here, I'm sure BNI will come and pick me up or something. Right. You see, this is when you suppress the people too much. This is, you're killing us slowly. So it feels like life is unbearable. Some people have expressed suicidal sentiments. They want to take their lives. And like I told you the last time, 3 people have lost their lives through all these things.
Really?
Yes, through all these things. So what are you doing to us as citizens? We are all citizens of this country. We are supposed to share the national cake together. Why is it that some people are better? Why should we be the ones who wait without salary for months on end, whilst our people in authority get their salaries, get their bonuses, get all that is due them? Our salary ranges from 700 to 1,200 a month. How much is this? Why is it so difficult for our authorities to pay us this salary in arrears? There are people who have rent arrears. They need money to pay. You see, we have stood in for those people. So we have spoken to landlords and all that. Right. So if they are not able to fulfill those promises that we stood in for, then we are in trouble as well, and they are in trouble as well.
We need to go. Let me give you a minute each. I'm sure that those in authority are watching us now. What message would you send across to them? I'll start with Chairman Dogwe.
Oh, as my brother said, we actually, whatever we will do, we will not say it now, because we've given them enough time. They should have to respond to our plight. People are dying. People cannot get even one daily meal. At least the toll booths over there generate a lot of money. A lot of money. They should use the money for intended purposes. They shouldn't use toll money to go and do different things and come and put the blame on the toll collectors that they are not making money. Because the money being generated from the toll are not used for toll work. If Bobiman can generate a month 800 to 900,000 Ghana cedis, are you saying that within 1 year, that stretch of road cannot be maintained with that amount? Unlike a Kasua, who is making averagely 35,000 Ghana cedis a month. So, you see, they are not using the revenue for their intended purposes. And they are pushing blame on us. We don't have any problem. We said they promised that they are going to reassign and pay us. So we are only waiting for that. They should do that nicodemously, and that is all.
Eddie, let me wrap up with you.
Yes, I would like to make a personal appeal to His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana. As we served the petition, we gave him a copy, and I believe by now he has gotten it. So we are pleading with you. You are our president. You are the one that we look up to. The rest of them, your appointees and all, we voted for you and you appointed them. We're begging you. What your appointees are doing, it's causing untold hardship to your citizens. We are begging you, Mr. President, please, call your minister to order. Let him go and open the tolls so that they can employ all of us. We are suffering. We are in a situation it's serious, Mr. President. Please, we are pleading with you. Thank you very much.
And that's the plight of the toll workers. We'll still keep our eyes on that story and bring you some updates.